qualities and pick them and then adopt them. Taqleed is one of the greatest lessons from the Ayyam al-Muslim. They said, do not, towards the end of the time, our own people will become enemies, and what they will do is, they will say, no, don't follow the experts, follow the ignorant. Every verse in the Holy Quran that refers to the referral of a layperson to an expert refers to taqleed. Every verse, please brothers, this is the last point, and I can let you ask questions. I've said too much. 40 minutes. Every verse in the Holy Quran that refers to a common person referring to an expert refers to taqleed. Taqleed is us following an expert. We always do taqleed in many things, but as soon as it comes to religion, doing taqleed becomes a bit of a problem. Because we should all become experts in religion. Even if you are not, then, well, we should try and use our brain. Why should we follow someone else? You should try and use your brain, and that's why you follow an expert. Many things go without saying. Why doesn't it say before every verse, do ijtihad or taqleed? Some things go without saying. It doesn't say, for example, the medical book doesn't say this book is for medical students. You don't pick it up and say, I'm reading it, I can follow it. It says cut from, if you, for example, find some cancer in the hand, cut from this place to this place, 3 inches, I'm going to cut myself and see what I can do myself. You never do that. It says in the medical book, follow it. But no one does. Yes, it's a manual, but for experts in medical field. And there are many books. If you want to refer, go and refer to those books and you'll find out how deep the process of ijtihad is. And that's why you need to follow. Even after a study of 15, 16 years, I still am a muqallid. 16 years I've been a student and teacher. And I still do taqleed because I have not become a mujtahid or an expert in Ayatollah. Not because I was dumb, because I left. It would have taken me at least another 15 years, probably 10, 15 years. It's not easy, the process. So the process is long, and you should continue to refer to an expert so long as you are not an expert yourself. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. Almost every person in this room is a very young person, and the salawat was as if you're all either tired or very elderly. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
I think it's sharp now.
We'll take questions. We've got plenty of people here today, so hopefully lots of questions. Who would like to go first? Hands up, please.
There's 1, 2 in back.
Please, Rob Noble.
We always have. You're only allowed to ask one.
Yeah, one question please per person, and then if we've got time at the end, we'll take a second each.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Last week you mentioned that Shia Islam did not believe in qiyas, analogy.
Yes, analogy.
Okay. And obviously it's frowned upon, yeah? We don't do it. If you do not have hadith or a Quranic verse to a modern day problem, what are the majaz using?
Ahsant. If you do not find a verse in the Holy Quran on a topic, you don't find a hadith on a topic, how do you derive a ruling if you do not have qiyas? Qiyas is a very weak method, even according to logic. There are 2 methods in logic. Everyone following me? Yeah. I'm going to be too technical, and forgive me for it. I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible, that every single person should understand it. There is a direct method of deriving a ruling, and there is an indirect, according to logic. Okay? Logic is common in Muslims, non-Muslims, Christians, Jews, everyone. I've got all the books that are taught in the bachelor's course here in the universities, and I've taught at bachelor's level logic. Direct method and indirect method. Indirect method has 3 ways, and direct method has 3 ways of deriving a ruling. Indirect, for example, like contradiction. I'll give you an example. I'm not going to go into all of that. Contradiction. You say soul or spirit, ruh, is present. If you can't prove this, you make a contradictory statement. What would be the contradiction of? The spirit is present, the spirit is not present. If you prove this to be wrong, then the contradiction will be proven right. Okay, everyone? Everyone followed it? Inshallah. Now this is indirect method. There are three indirect methods. There are three direct methods. The first direct method is induction. Then there is deduction. Deduction first, then induction, and then analogy. So analogy is the lowest and the weakest form of. I'll give you one example of induction. You say if all the animals and the mammals, when they are chewing their food, the bottom jaw moves and not the top jaw. So you see the human beings. The bottom jaw is moving when we chew the food, but not the top. Yes, everyone? Yes. You look at a cow, does the same. You look at other animals, sheep, horses, donkeys, elephants, everyone, yes, it's true. So you keep going around different species, 100, 200, 300, 400, 1000, crossing until you come across a crocodile. The top, the top jaw moves, not the bottom jaw in the crocodile. You say, this rule may not apply to all species of animals. This is called induction. So you go around looking at all the different species and you say, okay, we've looked at, there can be a complete induction or an incomplete. Complete induction would be that if you look at all the species of the animals and then you pass a ruling. And incomplete would be that when you look at something like 100 and you say, I've passed a ruling. I've seen 100 species and that's what it seems like. Did you follow me so far? Analogy is the weakest way. You look at a similarity between two things and you know the ruling of one and you don't know the ruling of the other. You pass the ruling of one onto the other without any reason, just because they look similar. That's why it's haram in Shia. If we don't have a ruling, then the Shia fuqaha use usulul fiqh, the principles of jurisprudence. Those principles have to be made based on Quran and Hadith and logic. Okay? And they would use those to derive all the other rulings. So if they don't find, so there'll be two methods of deriving rulings. Faqah, in usul fiqh they name them this. Okay, dalil shar'i and dalil aqli. Shar'i would be, for example, Quran and Hadith, and aqli would be, for example, usul fiqh. Okay, not analogy. Did you understand it? Alhamdulillah. I tried to simplify it. If anyone got lost, forgive me.
That's pretty.
The other brother.
If you put your hands up, it would make it easier for him to come around with the mic.
Someone had the hand over.
All shy all of a sudden.
Okay, the brother at the front as well.
No, I only wanted to ask you a factual question. Who killed Muhammad Baqir Sadr al-Mutahari? Factual, not
okay. Saddam killed Muhammad Baqir Sadr, rahmatullahi alayhi, and Mutahari, Sheikh Mutahari, Ridwanullahi ta'ala, was killed by a team called Mujahideen Khalq of Iran, who are named Munafiqeen. They would use a verse from the Holy Quran. You cannot force anyone for anything. You can't force anyone to stop, you can't force someone to stop a crime. So you can't make laws, for example. And they would say, because of this, because Musa Mutahari is the Chief Justice of Iran, kill him. They would just use a verse and then they would just pass a wrong ruling. You can't, la ikraha fi din, the Quran says. Surah number 2, verse number 256. There is no compulsion in religion. And he's saying anyone who sells drugs should be hanged. So, kill him. So one of his students, they had actually brainwashed him, who was studying at university, and he kept saying, Ustad, Ustad, teacher, professor, hi professor, he would call him professor. In Farsi they would say Ustad to professor. He said, Ustad, Ustad, he turned around and said yes to his student, and he put the gun on his head and shot him. His own student was 19 or something like that, and he wouldn't think that his student was going to kill him. He said, because you've passed a ruling that he was the first person to give the ruling, and then everyone followed in Middle East, and then Americans also said drug dealers will be, will be killed. For example, capital punishment will be given to the drug dealers. He was the first person, and he was killed for it anyway. Go on.
Right, my question.
Yes.
My question with regards to, we've got three main ulama, is that right? In the sense we've got Imam Ali al-Sistani, Imam Khamenei, and we've got Imam Khoy. Is that correct?
Al-Khoy died in 92.
He's dead, but he still has people who taqlid to him, do they not?